Hey, Mason here. Here with a very quick video on my League starter for 0.3, the third edict. The patch looks great, very excited. The Abyss change is really cool. I like how Abyssals interact with all the different mechanics. I think that's a really cool way to do a mechanic that they haven't really done before in PoE. Anyways, I'll just get to the point. So I will be League starting Flicker Strike Invoker again. Why Invoker? So, lots of people talking about that new Deadeye node, which I think it's called Call of the Mark. Deadeye. This one here, Cold Shots. A lot of people talking about using this to generate frenzy charges and then converting them with this keystone here, Resonance, to turn them into power charges, and then playing Flicker Strike Deadeye. And I don't really think it's going to work. The way I think this meta skill is going to work is it's going to apply a cooldown. Like it's going to apply marks based on a cooldown, because Sniper's Mark actually got nerfed. Let me see if I can check Sniper's Mark here. It has a cooldown of 6 seconds. So the way I read that is you apply some Sniper's Marks every 6 seconds. And maybe in a short range around you, hard to say. So based on that, I'm personally going to be playing Invoker. So Invoker, this node here got buffed. It was pretty bad before. It's probably still pretty bad. I think they nearly doubled the damage, a little bit less than double. But there is a new Mana Leech notable. I think it's like elemental damage applies to Mana Leech. This one right here allows Mana Leech to recover based on elemental damage. So this will allow you to solve mana. And you can actually end up using the elemental expression skill. Because the issue with this is that it consumes an absolutely insane amount of mana. And so with this in mind, it should be okay to use this, although I still think it's kind of bad. Meditate here actually got buffed, so they reduced the cooldown from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, and they also absolutely giga-juiced the energy shield recharge. So it's 100% more ES regen instead of 28%. So I think Alkaiser said it's around double the speed for Meditate. This is really good. The nerf they did was Overflow. Overflow got nerfed to 1.5 times. But remember that Monk, Invoker, is the only class that can overflow. So you're still going to have more ES than every other build in the game by 1.5 times. So with that in mind, my League starter will be Flicker Strike. Let's take a look. Flicker Strike actually got a quality change. Instead of not removing charges on use, you have 20% more damage per power charge consumed. This meant that you can flicker more often. And the only difference is that you'll be flickering 20% less often. But remember that you actually use a support called Perpetual Charge on Flicker Strike. So this one right here, it says 35% chance to not remove charges when you use the skill. So because you're using that, this 20% is actually not like a pure 20% more damage. It's probably around 17, I think. And so this ends up actually being insane because you consume 7 power charges. The main question I have is, how does this actually work? I'm not 100%. So when you flicker once, if we look at the gem, it says teleports to an enemy and strikes them, consumes power charges to perform additional teleporting strikes on nearby enemies. Teleports and strikes 2 additional times per power charge with X more attack speed, and you can't gain power charges. So it says per power charge. It says consumes power charges with an S. So the way I understand this is that it will consume all your power charges, which means you have 7 of them. And you'll get 20% more damage per power charge, which is 140% more damage, which is like 2.4x your multiplier, like your base damage, which is ridiculous. I think this is going to be insane for bossing. We'll see how this goes. The other change they did was Infernal Cry. They nerfed it by, I think it's 50%. So over here it says up to 32 to 49%. And it used to be up to 100% extra damage. So it's been nerfed by half. And down here, you have like a quality that also got nerfed a little bit here. So you get attacks gain 0 to 10% instead of attacks gain 0 to 10% per 5 power up to 50%. So it's a bit of a nerf here. But I think the Flicker Strike quality changes will compensate for this. So your single target will be fine. What else has been nerfed? Sacrifice has a change now. Let me see if I can find it here. Sacrifice Blink Convalescence can no longer be active in specific weapon sets. They have to be for both. I read online that people are saying that you can't generate power charges with Profane Ritual. So the setup that we used was Profane Ritual, Unleash Tempo, Fast Forward Mobility in your offhand. And then you would swap into it, which had Sacrifice active. You could see here, Sacrifice was in your offhand. And then that would allow you to sacrifice the minions to gain power charges. They are misunderstanding. You could still use this, it's fine. Because Sacrifice does not have a weapon requirement. So if you look at Herald of Thunder, it says here, requires any martial weapon. But on Sacrifice, it just doesn't have any condition. You can just use it. So this line here is not bricking the power charge generation. It's literally just minus 60 spirit for your main set. And Invoker has a ton of spirit. This was my SSF character, and I had like 215 spirit. So I was perfectly fine for spirit as well on this setup. The end is that you will drop mana remnants from my setup. This is, if I untick this, you can see that, so minus 75, 140, so it's around 70 spirit, 60 spirit, and that will give you enough to put Sacrifice on both sets. So there's no big issue here. And that's why I'm playing Invoker, by the way, because Invoker is really good for League Start because there's no right here. You gain spirit based on your ES and your evasion on your gear, meaning that you don't have to buy spirit on pieces, which is really expensive, and you can also get a ton of spirit early. The reason why I think Invoker is better is, one, you're not competing for spirit on gear, which every single other build is competing for spirit on gear. And two, is that you also get this elemental ignores crits, critical strikes ignore elemental res, which is also really strong. You get on-demand ES regen, which is now no longer very easy to access. And you just get a random damage node. So, I will be league starting this. I think there was one more nerf. I'm just trying to think what it was. So this was nerfed. Oh, Herald of Thunder got its AoE reduced. It also, I don't think it can put this on anymore, which means that you'll probably put Innovate on your Storm Wave, or you'll put Innovate on your Charge Staff. Probably Charge Staff. That's what I'm thinking. In terms of Storm Wave will still be used for your clear, or you can use Ice Strike. Storm Wave is probably better. Charge Staff is the same, non-touched. Mana Remnants is now, you can take this off, and you can put on that new Mana Leech Keystone. Mana Leech, this one right here, you just take this Keystone instead, and you can take that aura off, so you don't need that. And then just get yourself some physical damage leech, does mana on your rings or your weapon. And then this will have to be on both sets. This will still be in your offhand. Flicker Strike will probably still use these links. If you haven't seen my previous video, I recommend you check it out. The reason why I'm using Lightning Infusion is because I have a physical-based quarterstaff, because I'm playing SSF. But if you have a lightning-based quarterstaff, you don't need this. And for bossing, you're still using this setup here. I'm not sure if Ambrosia is being changed. However, there is a new lineage support gem, which I will just pull up quickly. Over here. Oh, there's 2 lineage support gems, or 3 actually, we should be keeping an eye out. First one is the plus level and quality one. The second one is the ignore res one, which I think is called Rakat. Yeah, this one here. This one's insane. If you do get this support gem, which I think will be really expensive, like 100 divine plus, you want to take off this invoker node here. Take this off and grab something else, like this one here, or this one here, or probably not this one, but one of the others. And then the other one was, there was one that gave you the fork effect from, where is it? Oh, this one here. Attack critical hit chance with supported skills, whatever that word is. That word is the same word on Tangle Tongue as like the fork. That's what it does. So it makes your crits fork in quotation marks, which is the Tangle Tongue effect. And I don't know if Tangle Tongue has a wiki page on this, but let's see if it has any. Yeah, here. So it says, hits with this weapon roll their crits twice to determine if they're a crit. If either roll succeeds, it will be a crit, and then normal crit damage is applied. If both of them exceed, the crit damage will be applied twice. So basically, it means that you're doubling your damage with one support. That's one to keep an eye out. But aside from that, this build is basically untouched. The only thing is Infernal Cry nerf, sacrifice minus 60 spirit, and Flicker Strike quality changed. And you can no longer put Sniper's Mark in cast on crit, so you would take this out, you drop cast on crit and put something else in it. Meditate is now buffed to give you more regen. And that's basically it. Nothing else has really changed. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. The only concerns I have are, one, is these crit notables get nerfed. So these are really strong. Two is that they nerf ES. So you can see that like I have like some random ES notes here. They might nerf these, whatever. There's a chance. Or then they might nerf Subterfuge Mask, which is a Trickster node from POE1, or this one up here, which is also, I think, a Trickster node. So these two are nuts. They may nerf those two. And they may nerf this wheel here. But aside from that, I think this build is still pretty solid. And considering I scaled to SSF with a weapon like this, I would not say this weapon is very good. It is a 2 mod physical damage, and then 1 dead mod, which is the lightning damage. It's not dead, but it's just really bad. Then it has the accuracy, which is part of the fizz mod in the prefixes. The crit is very important, the attack speed is nice, and the melee skill gems is not even that high. It's +4, and this could one-shot tier 4 bosses in SSF gear. So I still think this is very strong, and that's what I'll be league starting. Okay, and so for leveling, I will be playing this guy here. I would be doing Ice Strike Monk leveling from Tua. Thank you, Tua. And the idea is that I'm going to Ice Strike until I have enough spirit to swap. And the minimum spirit requirement you need is Sacrifice, 60 spirit. Cast on Crit, 90 spirit with quality, or 100 spirit without. So that's 160. And then Herald Thunder, which is 30 spirit. You can see here, the only other one I have is Mana Remnants, which you could just drop. And also, there's like a bunch of like, this one gives 20 extra spirit cost. Like you can just drop some of these, like you don't need to have these, right? So you can start the build with, I think it's 190 spirit if you have no quality. And if you have quality on cast on crit, then it's 180 spirit. And that shouldn't be too hard with the Monk Ascendancy and a Chukwood chest piece, which you can just make with Recombinator. So that's the plan. Our plan is to level following Ice Strike Monk, build charge stuff. Just gonna play this, and then as soon as I get enough spirit, make the flicker swap. The important part is you need flicker strike setup, storm wave, you want Herald Thunder, like all these standard skills. The main one is the spirit. You want enough spirit, and you need a rattling scepter to get the skeleton warriors. And this amulet here helps a lot if you're playing Invoker, because you don't need to use the elemental. Ignore Elemental Res Amulet. I forgot the name for it. But yeah, so that's basically it. I'm still playing Flicker Strike. If you're interested in seeing how Flicker Strike is in the new patch, please feel free to subscribe, keep watching. I'll be putting out videos whenever I have the time. A bit busy at the moment, so I'll probably take it a little bit slower, but I should be on for League Start tomorrow. Cool. That's more or less it. Also, don't play Warrior. Warrior got nerfed. And then if you play Deadeye, your gear's going to be super expensive. So that's why I'm playing Monk. But yeah, cool. Thanks for watching. Have a great League Start. And hopefully the servers actually live, because I have a feeling they're going to like explode or something.